I just hope that our guest is here already. I had a guest who called to say, you know what, the rain, I just can't stand to get up from the bed this morning. And the other guest, I cannot even say the issues we've been through all through this morning with that guest. But if we don't have a guest this morning, myself and my co-host will hold it down. But not to forget that you have an opportunity to call in and be part of the discussion this morning. Before we go on the break to call in our guest, I just want to ask Princess, there's a lot going on in Nigeria right now. I know we have our topic cut out for us, which is on the emergency and food security, with stakeholders saying, you know, after 22 months, there seems to be no change, no improvement. What is your state of mind on Nigeria this moment? Again, you had to leave state to come into Abuja to start a new job. Fine, you did say that you haven't gone round enough to give a verdict, but definitely you got a welcome when you got in here. So I just want to pick your mind on the state of the nation from your point of view.
Okay. Okay, I don't even know. You know, when we ask questions about Nigeria, a lot of people like I'm tired of talking about Nigeria's problem and all. But the truth is, if you ask, are we moving forward? Are certain things improving? And then you look around, some may say, okay, it's improved. I think it depends on the location of the country. Because I think for any nation, security, food, water, good roads, electricity, I think these are the basic thing any person will require. For Nigerians, I think Nigerians are really hardworking, and they're not really asking for too much. As long as they have security, they can afford the food,
their basic bills.
Exactly. I think we're good to go. Nigerians have become a government of their own these days. You pay your water bill, your electricity, and so many things. So back to the question again, I still think we still have a long way to go to get to that point where there's a place we want to see Nigeria. And it's not just us. Our founding fathers saw that vision, but we're yet to achieve it, basically. So that's it.
That's it. Interesting. All right, that's Princess, the new face on the press, and other programs on our shows right here in KAFTAN TV. As you know, this is live, reaching you from Abuja right now. We'll take a short break and hope that our guest is here, but if it's not, we'll run it together. Stay tuned. Yes, welcome back. It is the press, and we are here without our guest. Like I told you before we went on the break, it was sure that, both guests will make it today, but not to worry. Princess is here to co-host the show with me. Now, the topic we're supposed to take a look at with our guest this morning is food security, state of emergency not yielding results 22 months after, says stakeholders. That is what we're about to take a look at now. Now, I want you to know that the phone lines are open immediately as you see the topic right there in front of you. Food security, state of emergency not yielding results 22 months after, says stakeholders. Now, recall that in 2023, July 2023 is exactly July 13th, beside President Tinubu actually telling us that, fuel subsidy has been removed, the other thing or the other policy that was given to Nigerians was the state of emergency on food. But 22 months after, stakeholders are actually saying, you know what, there seems to be no improvement in that direction, and they are calling for attention. They're calling that something drastic is actually done to, tackle the state of food insecurity in Nigeria. So that is the reality. Most times the improvements that we see on the front pages of the paper, but when those on ground go to the market to make purchase, there is a totally different situation glaring us in the face. So I think this is why this call has come 22 months after fuel subsidy removal, a state of emergency on food security, and yet it is still go slow in that direction, Princess.
Yeah, it's a sad one actually. Like you rightly mentioned, declaring state of emergency on food was one of his first policies, and we're thinking at least by now, almost 2 years now, that we should have a significant improvement on that. Now, we're not just talking about the availability of this food. There are other factors also limiting the growth of what we expect to see, the boost in food production. We've talked over and over about the insecurity, especially in the northern part of the country. With farmers can go to the farm, and in their case, there were days where we're hearing that they pay bandits to access their farms, and sometimes not just with money, but with food items, which of course inadvertently leads to the increase in food prices. Now, aside from that, we have climate change. These are all factors. Another big one is the fact that we have not properly hug or welcome mechanized farming. I think that is actually a very limiting factor for us here in Nigeria, especially if you want to compare it to other countries like the US and other European countries who have embraced mechanized farming. Mechanized farming improves food production, it limits the labor in humans and basically put it on machines, thereby increasing more food production. So there are really a lot of things we need to do. I was asking myself, why do our leaders not go to other countries where certain things are working and do a form of understudy to know how did you guys get here?
But Nigerians travel.
Exactly.
Our leaders travel.
Our leaders.
They know how these things work.
Exactly.
I bet you differ on that. Nigerians travel.
They do.
Nigerians are one of the most traveled people in the world, aside being the most intelligent in the world. I look, no one can take that from Nigerians. We're the most intelligent people in the world. Statistics have shown the stories that people tell, is a verdict to the fact that Nigerians are highly intelligent. Our leaders travel and they know how these things work. But the question is, why is it almost or impossible to replicate same in our country with all that we have? We have the human capacity, we have the know-how. Exactly. We excel in all fields that we find ourselves within and outside the country. That is a huge paradox to see that we cannot you know, apply same to our day-to-day life and actually see results. You've given us some of it. You didn't give us the total of it. Demographic growth is one of them. Land degradation is one of them. It takes a lot that goes into this problem, but you know, for us, Nigerians look towards the government, and when policies are made, we expect that it jumps out of the pages of the white paper, yellow, green, like I say here,
and becomes a reality.
And becomes a reality, which we're not saying. But let us take a look at one point that you rightly pointed out, which is insecurity. You didn't say it all. Now farmers are being killed. We've had a situation in Nigeria where 100 rice farmers were killed by Boko Haram. And just recently, we've had last week, 2 weeks ago, cumulatively, if you add up, we've had like 40 farmers killed in Benue State already, and that's the food basket of the nation. Some years ago, I took a journey from the east into Benue, coming into Abuja, and I saw food. This is another, food wastage is another that we're going to talk about, another reason. I saw mountains of oranges wasting away. I saw mountains of mangoes, of pineapples, yams wasting away. Food wastage is one. I went to Ekboma. On your way, when you get to Iwa, Ewu, even before you get to Ewu from Benin, you see mountains of plantains wasting away. You see, food wastage is one of the issues that we grapple with. So it's a lot. So I want us to talk more. Let us take it, one after the other. Let us start with food security and try to understand how that has impacted food security in Nigeria, in your opinion.
All right, I'll say definitely. I think if we're going to talk about insecurity, I think it's like one of the primary causes, because a lot of farmers no longer go to farm because of fear of being killed or kidnapped or anything. So that has limited. And then, like I said also, because of that, the little who manages to go to the farm farm tends to pay taxes to these bandits. And at the end of the day, they have to recoup whatever they've invested in it. And it leads to the prices of food becoming really stiff, and people are wondering, things you could buy something today for this amount, and you go to the market the next day and you're being told it's a different amount, and you're like wondering, well, yesterday I got it this. So insecurity is one of the major problems that really need to be tackled. There are other problems, of course, but let's get the farmers back to the farm. Let's take away bandit, Boko Haram. Let's make sure that our security forces, the armed forces, and every other persons, every other arms that are tasked with the responsibility of keeping this country safe are doing what they should. The other day, I saw a really sad story of what happened where some soldiers were attacked. And from what the person was saying, these Boko Haram have sophisticated weapons that way at place our own security forces. What are we doing? Where are these people getting this ammunition from? I think we really need to go there, because this problem has lingered for so long.
For so long.
And like you said, Nigerians are intelligent, so it's not as if we can't do it. What is eating us from within? We really need to find this out.
Yes, I had a guest who came in here and actually made us understand, when you talk about solving issues, you don't start from the top, you start from the bottom and you work your way upwards. And she was talking about the grassroots, that there's no way you want to solve the problem of Nigeria without a look at the grassroots, without starting from the grassroots. Now, beside farmers being killed, our women are being raped.
That's true.
Women can't go to the farm. They are tortured. They are kidnapped. The girl child is going through a lot, within all of this, because if you come from a place like Delta State, our women go to farm. They farm a lot, even more than the men do.
Yes, they do.
And in recent time, that has been taken away from them. Women can go to farm. They can contribute to the family as they wish or desire, which has become a serious burden on the families affected by this situation in the country. Insecurity is a serious barrier in terms of food security, and government indeed need to take a holistic look at the situation and find a solution. Jos is still in our hearts, Benue in our hearts, and of course the eastern part of the country in our hearts, the mayhem that is going on in those areas. And these are places where we get food from, and if it persists, we'll continue in this quagmire that we find ourselves. Now, you talked about mechanization.
Yes.
Now, when we talk about farming, that is another problem that that we're having in terms of food security in the country. We are yet to adopt or observe what obtains in other parts of the world in terms of mechanization. Our people still do the whole to farm farming, and that we don't have much improvement in that part. Inadequate adoption of mechanization has become a serious problem, in terms of food security. And for me personally, I don't think the government, present and past, has done or is doing anything to improve that sector. I don't know, in your opinion.
Definitely. When it comes to mechanized farming, it's definitely quite expensive. A farmer can possibly afford a tractor. It goes in millions. So that is where the government comes in. Governors of each state, I was thinking the other day, if governors could maybe buy tractors, rent it out to farmers on a very small or little or nothing, it will really go a long way in helping, because an ordinary farmer can't afford to go buy a tractor. That's a fact. So if governors of each state could buy tractors, provide farmers with the adequate tools they need, that will really improve their production. Even their welfare will be improved. They will have lesser energy to spend on farm and all that. Now, in addition to that also, I think mechanized basically talks about technology. The other you mentioned shortly that you saw when you were coming back from a journey, you saw hips and hips of different food rotting. That's another issue that needs to be addressed, because we do not have mechanized farming or any form of technology. Food that are not, especially fresh fruits, vegetables or anything fresh, they get wasted. But this could actually be processed, and for instance, the oranges you refer to, they could be juiced out. And if you have steady electricity in this country, we have equipment that could, keep them fresh, that could be handled. Tubers of yam, potatoes, plantain and all that. We need to have another way of, if they are not sold, they should be refined.
Silos.
Exactly.
We have silos spread around the country. In communities. We do not have
to reduce the food wastage.
Yes. When you read the Holy Book, you tend to wonder how over 2,000 years ago, Joseph was able to preserve food for 7 years.
Exactly.
For the Israelites to come in, poachers, or for the Egyptians at that period, during the period of famine. And I think those technologies still presents today. We need siluses.
Even better. With the technologies we have here.
Because that takes us to the next, which is food wastage. There's a need we don't have the culture to preserve our food.
We do not.
For in and out of seasons. Nigerians love eating fruits. You can barely, because of this culture, lack of this culture that we have, you can barely even maintain or continue the thirst or desire for fruits. I mean, I'm going to the market, I have to calculate food, basic food, before I even think about adding fruits. It has become a serious problem for me personally to continue with my food culture because it is so expensive.
It is expensive.
It is expensive. We'll talk about food wastage, but again, the phone lines are open. Please call in and be part of our discussion this morning as we take a look at food security, state of emergency not yielding results 22 months after. Stakeholders are asking questions and Nigerians are wondering why things are not working, and we definitely need solution to our food security or insecurity situation in the nation. Please call in and be part of the discussion this morning. We'll take a short break, and when we return, more. Stay with us.
In the beginning, God created a beautiful world.
3, 2, 1. Action.
And that's why, at KAFTAN Television,
we imagine a beautiful world.
We are not just bragging.
we blaze the trail in broadcasting. And it is about you.
At KAFTAN TV, broadcasting is not just about information, education, and entertainment.
It's an aggregation of all you need to know in Nigeria
and around the world to create signal.
At KAFTAN Television, we have all it takes to be on top in broadcasting.
Our mission is simple: to project Africa in a truthful yet positive manner.
Wait, we're coming to you in style.
Here we are, starting from September.
Take a look at what the facts are.
And as you say on KAFTAN TV, imagine a beautiful world.
Great to have you back on the press once again, where we're taking a look at food security, emergency rule, I beg your pardon, state of emergency not yielding benefits 22 months after, and of course stakeholders are calling out to government asking questions and just waiting for results, which are not forthcoming. I am one of those asking the question as a woman. I go to the market, I keep a home, and like Princess said, you go to the market in the morning, you go the next day, the prices are different. And sometimes when you go make a purchase the same day, a few minutes after, there is a change of price or a change in price of the commodity that you purchased. Now, before the break, we were taking a look at some of, some of the things that may lead to food insecurity in the land, besides taking a look at government, and we came up with a lot of them, and we still have some to go. Before the break, we're taking a look at preservation of food. As it were, we do not have enough silos to preserve our foods. There's so much food wastage in the land. You go to the market. It's strange that sometimes you go, you price the women selling the wares, especially fruits or food, tomatoes, pepper, they will not sell to you. And when you go to where the refuse dump at the market, you see pile and pile of food just wasting. We do not have a culture of preservation in terms of food, and that indeed is a huge problem. You did rightly say that it would be nice for us to have the ability to juice excess mangoes, excess oranges, pineapples. You can, I mean, that's a picture on our screen right now. This is what you see when you get to the market or when you get to our farms in rural areas. This is the reality, facing or staring us in the face, and yet Nigerians don't have food to eat. The little that we have is being wasted. Before we move on to land degradation, which is one of the basic problems that we have in terms of food security in Nigeria, I don't know if you have more to say on food wastage and the way to go about it.
Just like you've mentioned, silos. I don't know how many states in Nigeria have that, and if they're even functional, because I think another problem we have as Nigerians is the inability to maintain certain equipment. We do not have the attitude of maintenance.
I think we have a call. We have, hello? Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name, please, and where are you calling from?
My name is Dr. from Ogun State.
Dr. who? Okay, Tolani, thanks for calling. Thanks for calling. Yes, can we have your contribution, please?
Yeah. I agree with you.
Thank you.
You're making a wonderful submission.
Thank you so much. We appreciate.
Yeah. You see, from my own personal experience, when I talk about food security, it's more than pronouncement. Food security should be a government-driven business. Government has no hand in agriculture. They only need to give an enabling environment to farm. I was also in the service. When I retired, I go back home, I went to the farming. And I knew what I encountered. The land is not there. The labor is not there. We can see that land, the thing is, all this land in Nigeria is empty. All this land in Nigeria are owned by somebody. You cannot go to land and start farming. When places like America, when you go to the other thing, what does it give away? It's for nobody. We have farmers, rich farmers in America. When you go to Italy, you have rich farmers in Italy. Safe living. And the people are not to the economy of the country. But we in Nigeria will depend on the government. And the government is not doing anything. The government cannot do anything because they don't have power over the land. What the technology, what the idea, what the government is doing has no power over the land. If we don't have land, we think we have land, why is the land? Don't go and enter the land and say, the farm. They will see the owner of the farm come and arrest you. So, when you come about food security in Nigeria, we must start with land. Then, the inputs. You talk about tractors. Where are tractors? You talk about where is the fertilizer? Where is the manpower? Even farmers in Nigeria are biological. They see that as nobody. They see that as authority. We recognize people like you, the best people, the lawyers, the doctors, and those who
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much. That was
Tolani
from Ogun State. He did say that we do not have the enabling environment to farm. He also mentioned the fact that farmers don't have the tools. When you talk about mechanization, beyond mechanization, they don't have adequate tools. And he mentioned fertilizer. That, you know, they don't have that. Nigerian farmers have become a ridicule in the affairs of things because they do not have the assistance, they do not have enabling environment, and of course that government owns the land. So if the environment is conducive, we will have more food. That is, government should talk the talk and walk the walk. And talking about land, this brings us to land degradation. He has rightly told us that when it comes to large-scale farming, when you come out to farm, then you will know the land belongs to government, it belongs to somebody. You are stopped from farming. And if you continue to farm the same land on and on, or on and off, that land tends to get degraded. Definitely one of the problems that we have in terms of food security in Nigeria is the problem of land degradation. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, definitely I agree with that, because over time, like you said, when you farm on a particular land, over time the land loses its nutrients, and so the yield becomes very poor, or sometimes nothing at all. So yes, it's actually one of the challenges we're having as a country. Yeah, land degradation. Yes, definitely.
And he did say mention fertilizers. Now we've had a situation where some years ago I had a guest come on the show, and we're talking about, it was a farmer, we're talking about availability of fertilizers, and he made us understand that, you know what, there is a serious problem when in terms of fertilizer from government, that even when the fertilizers are made available, that it doesn't trickle down to the grassroots.
It doesn't.
That there are bottlenecks to even get them. These fertilizers get into the wrong hands in government, and they resell at higher prices to the farmers. At the end of the day, this affects production. On and off, we've had guests or analysts or stakeholders mention issues like this, and I don't see that going away very soon, because if it would have had a different story. But thus far, it's been the same story year in, year out by these farmers. Land degradation definitely is one of the issues, and if farmers continue to farm same land year in, year out, that definitely will affect the yield of crops, and of course on the long run it will affect the entire nation, and will continue in this very terrible cycle of hunger, and we just hope that something is done. Now, you can't even talk about land degradation without talking about climate change. If you see, take a look at the pictorial. Nigerians do not even know the effect of climate change. Let me tell you, for the very first time in my life as a journalist, as a broadcaster, I've been on air talking about climate change as often as I can remember. But I stayed in Ondo. I was in Ondo last year. For the very first time, I came face to face with climate conditions that can affect humans. And for the first time, I understood what the world was talking about in terms of climate change. So that is it. And Nigerians are not aware, they are not too educated about the effect of climate change and how it affects food production. I don't know if the government is 100%, because we need 100% from governance in terms of issues that has to do with us as a people. If they actually know the effect of climate change on food production, or its effect on us as a people.
Well, it still boils back to knowing something and doing something about it. It's one thing to know, okay, identified, okay, this is a problem. Then how do we tackle it? Like you said, you say you came face to face with it. You know, there was let's say a few years back, or maybe a decade ago, you could tell what month the rains come, you know, what month the hammer time. But now you could just see rain in January, and then maybe in a few weeks time it will be like hammer time. Like, it's just up and down. Like, you can't really tell, and it's confusing for farmers. You wouldn't even know what's the right time to go plant, because you could say, oh, the rains are here, you go plant, and then the rains are dried up, you see. So climate change is actually something, it's a global, it's not even just a Nigerian thing. It's a global phenomenon, and that is why it takes the entire world. We have to work together, not just leaders. You personally, what are you doing? You see a lot of people in practice dumping refuse plastics. You see plastics everywhere in the water. It's affecting life in the ocean. It's affecting us. It's like it's everywhere. We really need to put our hands together. Personally, when you eat something that is not biodegradable, how do you trash it? We should, as Nigerians, learn not to be trashing things on the road. It's really an attitude I detest. I do not like to see it at all.
We have a call. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. What's your name, please, and where you calling from?
My name is Emmanuel from Yobe State.
Oh, Emmanuel, Yobe. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. What's your contribution, please?
Thank you for your discussion and person is here with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In fact, I heard what you are saying concerning the farmers, the waste of food and rest of them. I just wanted to talk about the farmers, how the government are dropping the farmers, which arrangement the government are making concerning the farmers. Because, one, if they are doing a lot of projects for this and that, they are talking about election 2027. And people are dying, people are not going to farm, people are not eating. What arrangement they are doing that farmers will guide and protected? Because I would not like to go and farm and die in process of going to farm to feed the nation. Because if you see what is going on for these very farmers, in fact, we pity them. What I see, what is going on with them, killing each the fathers and the mothers, children will stay alone, crying here and there. You know, and there's no any preserve of food like other countries. When people are doing something, the government has to preserve certain things. With things going down, they can able to do that one and feed the nation. But for some like that at all, no plan at all. What they're planning is how to share the money. One thing, if they're doing budget, let them do budget for the farmers. The local farmers, help them by giving them money, call them. Who people are ready to farm, give them enough money to farm and watch them so they can able to do something. And talking about say, look, go to that security, you cannot help this country unless they do a reasonable thing to save the life of people who are farming. So can able to sit and think very well in this country. That's what I wanted to contribute. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Manuel. Thank you so much for calling in on the show. All right, there you have Emmanuel just taking us through the wheel of some of the problems facing food security in Nigeria. And just like we said, he has called that the federal government, he started by asking the question, what is the federal government doing to safeguard the lives of the Nigerian farmers? We keep hearing farmers being killed, kidnapped, you know, by these very terrible people that I don't even want to mention right here. So it's a huge question, and that is why we're talking about what we're talking about today. We're still experiencing food insecurity. There's no food security in Nigeria. There's no guarantee in terms of food security, and it's getting worse by the day. I did tell you that I saw you go to the market to buy stuff, and I rolled my eyes, and I just said, you know, I can imagine the toll that is had in your pocket. Things are really expensive. We have another call. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Hello? Hello? Okay. there's a shy one that called. You can actually please call in. We still have a few minutes to go. Call in and, of course, let us have your say on the topic. Now, let us take a look, because of time, on demographic growth. Demographic growth has been identified as one of the problems we face in terms of food security. And when you, in a layman terms, is the drift from the rural areas to urban cities. It is believed that that is one of the major reasons why we're having food insecurity or have food security issues in the land. Everybody wants to be in the city. There's this pull to the city because, of course, the amenities are not there to make the Nigerian youth stay. The Nigerian youth still believes that farming is your hoe and your cutlass. They've not seen the picture that it goes beyond just hoe and cutlass. And farming has become something of the past. And this demographic, these are the strength of our nation. The youth is the strength of any nation. Now, when the youth will not farm, how do we eat, Princess? So demographic growth is one of the issues. The migration from the village to the city has become one of the reasons why we don't have enough food. Else, why would you sell one pear for 1,000 naira or one mango for 2,000 naira in my area?
Wow.
One mango goes for between 1,000 to 1,500. They put 4 mangoes in a basket, a small basket, and it is sold for 3,500. I still find it difficult. Sometimes I have nightmares. I have mango nightmares.
You definitely master that price.
It's so funny.
It's not actually. You know, I feel that we sort of kind of have grown, especially I remember the previous administration was really big on agriculture, that people should go back to the farm and all. I think that over time, people are already getting, going back to the farm. People are advised, if you have a backyard, plant something. You could plant some pumpkins, some tomato, some pepper, but not everybody has a backyard there. Now, coming back to the demographic you were talking about, I still think, yes, it's one thing to farm, but farming is actually expensive. You know, of course, maybe no Nigerian youth, especially if they've been to the urban cities, we want to go to the farm with a hoe. There are other means of farming. They could, maybe I could employ laborers. Or if I have money, I could buy tractors. You know, just sit and make sure I oversee these things. I actually have interest in farming, but then again, where is the land? And then what money do I have to start? Because you have to talk about, you need seeds, you need labor, you need some form of equipment for all this. So it's one thing to say, okay, go into farm. It's another to really go into farm. Really. Okay, so we've identified all of this: insecurity, inadequate adoption of mechanization, food wastage, climate change, land degradation, demographic growth. The problems are huge, but the call by stakeholders is a call to government. And now let us narrow it to the focus. What is the role of the Nigerian government in ensuring food security? Because like I told you, now and again we get reports, inflation has dropped to this percentage. Exactly.
We're going to start buying food now very cheaply.
We hear figures.
The data just goes on and on.
Exactly.
And you rush and
for a common man,
you go to the market and the reality hits you in the face. It's getting worse by the day. What is the role? How should the federal government tackle this situation that we have, in your opinion? Because we really need solution to it.
We do.
How do we begin to find solution to this serious food problem? There's hunger in the land. If you and I complain if the rich still cry. If the rich are crying right now, one can imagine what the poor are doing.
Exactly.
That's food for thought. If the rich are crying, one can imagine what the poor are doing. And we're looking towards the government in finding solutions to this hunger in the land. And every day we come with different ideas, solutions. We'll offer different solutions to it. In your own take, what do you think should be the way forward?
I think the government have their work cut out for them. First of all, it's almost 2 years since the declaration of emergency. I think the government, the federal government, owe us a duty to okay,
I'm sorry, darling. Let's take a call. Let's take this call. I'm sorry to cut you in. Hello, what's your name, please, and where you calling from?
Hello.
Good morning. What's your name and where you calling? Good morning. I can hear you.
Good morning. Is that KAFTAN TV?
Yes, please.
Yes, it is.
I'm calling from Lagos. My name is Godwin.
Okay, Godwin. Thanks for calling in.
Yes, Godwin from Lagos. My sister, the issue at hand is not about farmers all the time. We Nigerians, we are too greedy. Let's call it straight a spread. The other lady was complaining that we saw 3 mangoes on thousands. A mango for 1,000?
Yes, yes.
What are we talking here? My sister, we are too greedy. Nigerians, we are fond of blaming other people, whereas we can blame ourselves as the citizens of this country. Things that Nigerians are doing to us ourselves, a Ghanaian cannot do to a Ghana man. We are too selfish, my sister. Let's tell ourselves the truth. If we cannot start now to tell ourselves the truth, this country cannot change. We should stop passing the ball to every other person. We are too selfish. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Godwin. Thank you so much. So please go ahead, Princess.
Yeah, he actually mentioned one of the things I wanted to talk about. So like I said, the government have their work cut out for them. Yes, they do. We need, as a people, as they are leaders, they were elected. We're like their boss. So as a boss, you give you employ someone to do something. You're expected for an update, accountability. We expect, okay, we have the Minister of Agriculture. We need update as to what has been done by the government so far to ensure that the state of emergency that was declared, that there is something being done, there is something that has been achieved, or they're working on something. We need updates on that. Then back to how can the government help? I think first, not just the federal government, because we have governors. The reason why we have governors in state, they're closer to the people there, and then it goes all the way down to the local government. They should help subsidize, bring mechanized, like I suggested earlier, buy tractors, lend it out to farmers, let them farm, give them directly, not by proxy, give them fertilizers directly, let them use this, and then we're going to get a boost. Then coming back to what our last caller mentioned that I said I wanted to point out is the federal government ensuring that we have a sort of a price control, you know, because someone could just wake up in a store and decide to inflate the price, and you know they have unions now. They could just have meetings.
Just a phone call.
Exactly, and that's it, with no reason at all. So sometimes we have people who are mandated to check prices. They should be serious with their job and ensure that there's a uniform price. If there is a decline, let the poor man notice, okay, that this thing I bought for 200 naira is now 150 today. That is how we can know that, okay, something is happening. Not just giving us numbers that doesn't reflect in reality, basically. Also, the farmers should be made accessible. They should also be given a form of orientation, you understand, on how to manage, how to ensure that their farm is utilized properly, and also basically affordability at the end of the day.
Now, out of all of this, price control is one that I really want to talk about, because it appears that the federal government has been playing lip service to price control. I hear a story growing up that there used to be serious price control in place. My mom would tell us stories about people come into the market, they have names that they call them, and when you see them, you get into form. You just can't hike the prices of food just because you want to make extra profit. But now and again, this is what happens in our markets. You get to the market and you get 5 different prices of the same commodity. I've had that with beans since I came to Abuja. You get different prices, even with rice. It's not the same. One begins to wonder. So what I did at the market, it was like a survey. I took time to go around the market, line by line, to find out those who sold the right prices and those who inflate the prices. So what I do, I put a red mark. So I don't shop in those parts. So I go where I can actually get people with a conscience who will sell at the right price and not inflate prices. Look, I bought sugar from a shop for 1,500 and went to another shop and I got the same sugar for 1,000 naira. That's just 500 naira difference. I've had situations like 50%. That. Yes, where the same commodity, this manufactured by the same company, the prices will have a difference of 1,500, 700. So I mark those prices. So this is a great advice to you. You go to the market, you take time to just find out prices, which will help you get your goods at a cheaper rate. There are people who are bent to frustrate their friends, their neighbor, to frustrate Nigerians. There are people without conscience in the market who are bent to even frustrate the effort of government in tackling the problem. But again, my call is that federal government should stop playing lip service in terms of price control. They need to move. Again, the man that called in was talking about, I think we have a call, talking about Nigerians being weaker to each other. I think I agree totally. Hello, my friend Mazi. Good morning. Thanks for calling in this morning.
Are they going to keep to the terms of agreement? One time. That is the problem. But the thing is, if they want to say that one time, they go for what they should do there. They should pay a contract on their agreement. Take it on that year and stand there so that everybody will read it and explain the material. So that not tomorrow, one man will start telling us story. And even this one people are talking about jam. Well, the jam have already made the mistake. They should do the needful. Anytime they want to conduct the exam, they should go to WAEC, have the needful, and sit down and draw a completely timetable that will favor all the candidates, all the morning. Have a pleasant day.
Thank you so much. Okay, so that's the beauty of the press. Even when you have a topic, you know, in front of you, you're free to call in and just let us have your feel. Let us understand what you're going through as a Nigerian. You can talk about any topic as long as it's on the front page of the front pages of the newspaper. Or if you have anything you want to talk about that's been bothering you as a Nigerian, you can come here once the phone lines are open and talk about it. We're talking about food security, and Mazi has called to talk about jam. Mazi has called to talk about jam, and that's the way he feels this morning. And Mazi, we appreciate you. So we're talking that the federal government should go beyond lip service for price control and hit the road or the ground running and ensure that they do something. The caller from Lagos said Nigerians are weaker to each other. The things that are happening in Nigeria, you can see happen in Ghana. Why would you sell one mango for 1,000 naira?
That's ridiculous, to say the fact.
Why would you sell mangoes for? We high prices,
and these are
astronomically, but for no reason. They'll tell you the dollar now. Oh, it's the road. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. And the country is just going south, as they say. We need to look beyond government. Now, let us. Okay, fine, Princess. You've given us your take on what government should do. What should we do as Nigerians in terms of this situation?
We do have a lot. You know, I believe that Nigeria's problem is not just on the leaders, it's on us, because the leaders came from us. We are the leaders. So yes, we do have our own jobs to do. In your mini corner, you're a leader there. What are you doing to better Nigeria. There's a saying that says, change begins with you. So what are you doing on your own little corner? Are you inflating prices because you want to make more profit? There are cases where you see someone, because they're the only person that sell a particular thing in a particular location, they hike the price. So if you like, you buy. If you like, don't buy it, you know. So we really need to do better. I don't know if you've noticed how easy it is for traders to increase prices of goods because they hear, oh, the thing has increased. They increase it immediately. But when the price has come down, they do not speedily bring the price down. It just remains there. So it's basically like a law that anything that goes up in Nigeria, especially the price, doesn't go down. So we really need to do our own part as Nigerians. Let's be our brother's keeper and ensure you can't make all the money. You can't by inflating prices. Just sell the normal price and have our country better. We all working together as Nigerians, you know, we can be better and possibly achieve the dreams of our Nigeria.
Yes, indeed. There is a Nigerian dream. There is a Nigerian dream. The Americans have the American dream. There is a Nigerian dream, and it begins with you as a Nigerian. There is no savior anywhere that will come and repair Nigeria for us. This is our nation. This is our country. Like Princess rightly said, every man is a government in the place he finds himself. The government you look up to comes from you. I've never heard that. The government you look up to comes from you. They are your brothers, your sisters, your husbands, and your fathers. No savior will come anywhere to save Nigeria but us. This is a call to the people. We are not trying. Like they say on the street, we know they try at all. You go to the market in the morning, it's one price. Tomorrow is another. We are running Nigeria down. And there needs to be a change. There needs to be a stop to it. I cannot buy mangoes for 1,000 that is being cultivated just right in our backyards. There needs to be a shift, and it begins with you. I want to thank those of you who called in this morning. Tolani from Ogun State, Ima from Yobe, and of course Godwin from Lagos, and Mazi from all the way from the east. I appreciate your call this morning. And of course I want to thank my host, my co-host this morning, Princess, for doing justice to the discussion, and of course my guest, the one who couldn't rise because the rain fell too much, and the other one who put me through hell and still did not come this morning. If you're watching, I appreciate you and hope that you make it the next time. My name is Anwar Benite. Thanks for being part of the show. Remember, tomorrow is a date. We bring you the press Monday to Friday live on KAFTAN Television, Abuja. I am Anwar. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.